Hi, everyone. My name is Asaf Hamadullah from the Global Certification Forum. Here at the GCF, I'm responsible for overseeing the development and deployment for certification programs for products in various IoT verticals. I'm very happy to be here today to talk specifically about our latest certification program for C-V2X. This is a very exciting space for us, as a lot of development is underway in industry in this area, bringing together individuals and companies with diverse viewpoints and expertise. That's really needed to help build this ecosystem, which truly is a melding of two different industries and sectors, i.e. automotive and telecoms. In this presentation, I'm going to cover the high-level aspects of certification in general, and then go into specifically what the GCF C-V2X certification program entails. So this graphic captures GCF's overall mantra when it comes to certification and how we run our programs, in that interoperability of products with the network and also between the products themselves can be captured in three simple steps: test, certify, and connect. Certification is really one of the last steps a product manufacturer undertakes before making a product commercially available in the market. And as a result, for the manufacturer, it's essential for them to understand the steps needed in order to be able to take their finalized product, undergo the necessary testing, have the product certified, and then be able to connect the product commercially in a real live environment, say to a network. These steps to undergo certification are generic enough to apply to various types of products, whether they be smartphones and modules, or products for the automotive sector, such as those devices supporting C-V2X functionality. Of course, while it's easy to conceptualize these three steps needed for certification, the actual process by which GCF makes certification possible is based on a tried and tested system that has been developed over the past 20 years in the telecommunications space. And it's helpful to understand what the system is, given when you look at connected automotive products, they do bring to the table certain considerations that differ from traditional wireless products. So first step is determining the scope of testing that needs to be established and whether the testing is done in a conformance, interoperability, or a field trial environment. This is typically done with the manufacturer assessing the product's capabilities against a set of certification criteria or requirements that will be used to determine what specific testing needs to be conducted. A manufacturer needs to run these tests only for functionality its device supports and only in the areas where a declaration for certification is being made. So generally speaking, this means that each and every product may have a set of specific tests identified, and these may differ from product one to product two. And it's required that they pass these tests in order to achieve certification based on its declared capabilities. The test plan is established in the GCF with the help of our recognized test organizations, or RTOs, which are essentially the certified labs, and third-party assessment capable entities, or ACEs, which are subject matter experts who can work with the manufacturer to determine what specific testing is required, and generally walk them through the overall GCF certification process. Once that is done, the testing takes place at the RTO with a test report that highlights the passes and failures. Of course, if there are any failures, then those usually need to be rectified and the device retested. But ultimately, once that stage is completed, you have a product that has met the requirements set out for it with the test results as evidence of conformity. Finally, a declaration is ready to be made by the manufacturer with supporting evidence for the specific areas undergoing certification, and this is uploaded to our portal and updated in our databases, and the product is published on our website. The publication indicates that the product is certified and the manufacturer has met the market entry requirements for those regions or those customers who are requesting GCF certification. So at the GCF, we've taken this approach that we've been using for the mobile devices and have extended it to these IoT verticals and incorporated specific considerations for those verticals in the certification process. So how are we exactly doing this? Well, in order to support these verticals, we have had to leverage our certification framework, which includes our IT backend. So these are the various portals that we have in place, including developing dedicated portals for each of these different types of certification programs, access to our database, ensuring there's APIs available to extract the relevant information, and in general, adopting our robust certification process, which involves the integration of various standards technologies, outcomes of working groups, work items, etc., to support these verticals. And this slide shows some of the areas where we have been involved in addition to C-V2X, such as 1M certification, eSIM certification, and consumer IT security. We're also working on a certification program for mission critical service that's still underway. A key thing to note here is that all of these, what we call standalone certification programs, are done in collaboration with an industry partner who acts as a catalyst to bring members of that ecosystem to the table and to ensure that the requirements that are pertinent to that vertical are identified. So in these cases, these are all certification programs that are separate from the core GCF certification program. In the case of C-V2X, we have partnered with 5G Automotive Association for the past couple of years. We've been working very closely with them to understand the ecosystem and effectively develop a certification program catered for the automotive industry. And this is the phase one of the C-V2X initiative. When it comes to automotive in general and the support for wireless connectivity solutions for the automotive space, this has been around for quite a number of years. We started off with 3G technologies, with 4G, and now with 5G in our work items underway. We're continuously building and advancing our certification solutions, and these are covering things such as location positioning systems for services, such as telematics and fleet tracking, so that has been widely used in the automotive sector. We also have active work items for supporting e-call functionality that's used in emergency services, such as roadside assistance. And now, of course, as connected vehicles become a reality, support for C-V2X PC5 Sidelink certification as our first phase in our overall program. Over time, we expect to advance the roadmap to incorporate additional capabilities that may involve network-dependent use cases, of course, support for 5G, and in general have C-V2X applications that can run over a common radio layer. So as the global automotive industry develops these frameworks for cooperative intelligent transport systems, we at the GCF and with the 5GAA have taken this first step of many to support manufacturers who are building products leveraging PC5. Our program was launched in July earlier this year, and we have established a dedicated working group in the GCF called the Connected Vehicles Workstream that is composed of both GCF members and 5GAA members who are working together on managing and evolving this initiative. The group currently meets on a monthly basis via web conference calls and coordinating work with other working groups within the GCF as well as within the 5GAA, such as with the Working Group 3. Details of this program can be found on our dedicated certification portal, cv2x.globalcertification.org, where I urge you to go to get more details and access additional material. One of the key aspects we're striving for with this program, and this is to ensure that the right people are involved in driving and generating value for the industry in the space. From 3GPP, that is developing the technology standards to the radio layer, to our partnership with the 5GAA, we are looking to make sure that the various stakeholders of this program, such as the vehicle OEMs, the OBU and RSU suppliers, road operators and authorities, MNOs, and of course the test industry, i.e. the test labs and test equipment suppliers, are all able to come together to discuss and resolve the various issues that are pertinent to this ecosystem. From the GCF perspective, input from these players will be critical in developing any solution, as they're familiar with not just the requirements that can range from technical functionality to safety, security, and reliability, but they also have a very good understanding of the market dynamics and the demand that is present for specific types of services across various regions across the globe. We are also looking in the long run to establish relationships with the various ITS bodies worldwide to understand what the regional requirements may be, so that we can ensure that a certification program can be seen as an enabler for commercializing products in various regions. Ideally, we want manufacturers to be able to certify certain aspects once and then use it anywhere around the world. So now, specifically to the C-V2X program at GCF, this is a program that's available to any product manufacturer, regardless of GCF membership. Typically, our core programs are for members only, but in cases such as this, where we're supporting a specific vertical, the offering is made to anyone who would like to undertake a certification for this product, for their product. The various product types and scope include onboard units that are integrated into the vehicle, as well as roadside units that are supporting smart traffic infrastructure, as an example. In GCF, we also support the certification of platforms that allow, for example, a chipset or a module to undergo C-V2X certification and be integrated into an end product. As a certifier, you do have to create an account on the portal in order to get access to the documents required for certification, as well as information on the supported RTOs or the labs that are offering the service. And similar to our core program, declarations that have been successfully submitted will be available on a public listing on the portal, indicating that they have achieved certification. The focus of the C-V2X program currently is on conformance testing. So these are tests that are executed in a controlled lab environment against validated test equipment. We have 2 active work items that are driving the work for the certification scheme, covering RF, RRM, and protocol tests as defined by 3GPPs, TS 36.521-1, 36.521-3, and TS 36.523-1. And as test cases are developed in 3GPP, the GCF is also dependent on FCTF 160 task force that is responsible for developing the TTCN code that is then used by the test equipment vendors to implement support for the test on these test platforms. Work item 281 is fully active for certification in band 47 for all 3 areas of testing, while ongoing development and work is happening on work item 282, specifically in the RF and RRM areas. The reason for the separation of these work items is due to the way 3GPP releases came about, as the overall work items in 3GPP cover not just the V2V and V2I, i.e. vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-infrastructure, but also vehicle-to-network portions as well, which is currently out of scope of this phase 1. So we're having ongoing work on the validation of test cases on these test platforms, and as these platforms become active in certification, they can be used by the RTOs to execute the tests. All testing for C-V2X is done at a GCF RTO, and RTOs have to be ISO 17025 qualified. And again, the full list of RTOs supporting this technology is found on the portal. This is just a snapshot of a portion of the portal where the relevant information is present. The information is updated on a quarterly basis in line with our certification and database release cycles. So for example, if test cases are added or removed by the group, or if a validation information on a particular test case changes, then these will be reflected in the database release, and the relevant information will be extracted and updated onto this website. So it's always important to make sure as a certifier, you are using the correct and relevant version of the test plan. And as there may be overlapping versions of the criteria, a certifier can also view which versions of the C-V2X certification criteria are valid for a given time frame. For C-V2X certification, given the specific set of tests that are applicable, we have made the use of a third-party ACE here optional, as it's fairly clear what tests need to be executed based on the functionality indicated. However, certifiers who are new to the GCF or would just like help with the process can always choose to enlist the services of an ACE to help them through the overall process. Again, I'd urge everyone to visit the website to download and get the required documentation to get a full view of what the requirements are, as well as the process. The graphic on the slide shows the overall process flow for a certifier undertaking C-V2X certification. As mentioned, the first step is to go to the dedicated portal and get login access, which gives you the required documents. And once that's done, the manufacturer will work with the GCF RTO of their choice and submit the relevant device information that would then ensure the appropriate tests are executed and made part of the test plan. And once the testing is complete and report issued with hopefully no failures, the manufacturer is now ready to submit the declaration. And they can upload all of the documents onto their compliance folder on the portal. It's important to note that each OEM's compliance is secure and cannot be accessed by any other OEM. And only authorized users such as the GCF office, 5GA office, and operator community can access the compliance of a device. The manufacturer is also responsible at all times for maintaining their certification and ensuring that they're always in compliance with the declaration. So, so in the event that something changes on the product, they would have to go in and assess what those changes are, make sure the relevant testing is done, and update compliance folder accordingly. And upon submission of the documents, a notification is sent to the GCF office. If the certifier is not a member of GCF, then a certification fee is applied for the submission to be accepted. Otherwise, the product is published and is considered certified. So while this program is in effect at the CVWS, we are working to continually improve and enhance the certification program based on the market demand. And as GCF is a member-driven company, we rely on our members, and in this case, the members of both the GCF and the 5GAA, to bring forward contributions and proposals for the next phase of the program. Some of the areas that we are currently considering, these are all under discussion, nothing has been finalized, is taking into consideration specific testing requirements for automotive products. So for example, an environmental temperature test may require different limits under which the product is certified against, say compared to a sort of standard smartphone, given the conditions under which the device for automotive is being used, and it's different. So there may be nuances like this that need to be considered in the testing, and we're assessing the 3GPP test cases to ensure that the conditions are appropriate for the type of device being certified. And of course, if there are any changes required, we will channel this back into 3GPP or maintain specific considerations for automotive type products. Some other areas include ongoing support for PC5, SideLink, as we have 5G NR being deployed. 3GPP has many work items underway for NR, and as those get completed and are taken up by GCF, we expect our members to bring forward work item proposals in those areas as well. There's also future network-dependent test cases that may be relevant, where you can have concurrent services using both SideLink and the LTE-UU or NR interface. So these are all items that are going to be looked at. I mentioned earlier regional requirements across the globe, and making sure that we are in sync with what the different regions are requiring. We would be interested in providing support for those as well, as one of our main objectives is to ensure interoperability and minimize fragmentation. So the manufacturer should be able to certify the product once and supply to as many regions as possible without duplicating testing. So these are, of course, it's not an exhaustive list. It just highlights some of the important areas and aspects we're considering and we'll be actively discussing in the CVWS as this program evolves in the coming months and years. And again, we're very open to industry input as we develop these. So we encourage everyone to get in touch with us to help build this program forward. So with the launch of this program in partnership with the 5GAA and the establishment of the CVWS workstream, we are well on a path in GCF to secure the future of connectivity for the automotive sector. And as 5G certification expands into these new verticals where we believe it'll act as a key service enabler, at the GCF, we're going to make sure that ongoing collaboration and development occur amongst the stakeholders in this space to align on a common transport layer upon which multiple and diverse CV2X applications can reside. We're very excited to work with the industry on these efforts and give an open welcome, as I mentioned, to anyone wishing to participate to get in touch with us to help influence this important work. I just want to share some information about how you can stay abreast of all the GCF activities, so not just CV2X, but just in general. We are very active on social media, as you can see on the slide. All of the major platforms are supported, and you can also connect with us directly via our website, which allows you to not only learn more about the various programs we support, but also become aware of different events that we're participating in the industry, as a lot of this work is happening in our working groups. And finally, if you have any specific questions, please do send them in via the chat box, and we'll aim to take them during our live panel QA session. I'd also love to connect directly with you to discuss these topics in more detail, so feel free to get in touch with me by email or phone. Thank you once again, and talk to you all during the panel session. Thanks.